Okay, here we are, question 5, and it's a coordinate geometry question. For some people, this might have been the first question you did on the paper because some students really like this. If you're good in algebra, oftentimes you kind of gravitate to this one because you kind of feel there'll be a bit of algebra in there. Let's have a look at it. The line L1 has an equation 4y plus 3 equals 2x. Okay, the point A, 9.54 lies on L1. Okay, L2 passes through the point 24. Okay, passes through the point 24, and that's C. So that's point C is 24. Okay. Okay, perpendicular. So L2 is perpendicular to L1. Okay, so right, show that the equation for L2 is 2x plus y minus 8 equals 0. Okay, so I think we probably have an idea of how to do it. We're going to start off with our L1. We're going to isolate y. And when we do this, we divide it across by 4. We get y is equal to 2 over 4x minus 3/4. We're going to get the slope of L1 to be a half. The perpendicular slope then is going to be minus 2 over 1, or minus 2. We have our equation of the line formula, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. My slope is the minus 2, so that's my m. And I can choose, I was going to say I could choose any point, but of course we have the point C, which is 2, 4. So that's going to be my x1, my y1. I'm just looking back at the question. Okay, so I have to have it in a particular form. I'm going to bring everything over to the left-hand side, and I have my answer, 2x plus y minus 8 equals 0. It's a 5-mark question.
So this one's marked on a 0, 2, 3, 4, 5 scale. So we have low, mid, and high partial credit available. So our low partial credit here is for attempting to isolate the slope of the first line. So by taking the equation of the line you have, so L1, and attempting to find the slope of that. Our mid partial credit is then correctly finding the slope of the perpendicular. So correctly getting the slope of M2. And then our high partial credit is substituting into the equation of the line formula. So method for finding the equation of the line. And then full marks is for giving the answer in the correct form. So if you gave it in the incorrect form, it would be 4 marks because you would have correctly picked up the working mark for high partial credit, but you haven't gained full credit.
Okay, so hopefully we got the 5 marks, but even if we didn't, of course, we're given the equation for L2 so we can continue on. We can see that the point D is the point of intersection between L1 and L2. So this is back to one for a junior search where you say, oh yeah, simultaneous equation. So naturally we have to maybe, you could do it in a couple of different ways, but one way of doing it is the substitution method, where in this case I've isolated y. Y is equal to 8 minus 2x, that's an L2, and I'm subbing that in for y into L1. I simplify it down. I have 35 is equal to 10x. X is 3.5. Of course, I'm going to use my 3.5 in one of my equations. So I go back up to this equation here. I'm subbing in my 3.5. I get y is equal to 1. So I have my point 3.51. And that was a 5-mark question.
So this one is marked on a 0, 3, 5 scale. So we're looking for our partial credit here. We are looking for you to attempt to isolate x to be able to find the x value. Okay, so you don't need to get as far as getting the x value correct to be able to get the partial credit here, but an attempt to do that. So isolating y and substituting it in. Okay, so isolating the y and substituting it in would get you the partial credit here for 3 marks.
Okay, so we have our point D as our 3.51. Is that going to be needed for us in the next part? I think it is, because we're going to have to show that the length of CD is 3 over 2 root 5. So using our 3.51 and our 0.24, we can just use our distance formula. So once we use our distance formula, it's relatively straightforward here to work your way down to get the 3 over 2 root 5, and that's a 5-mark question.
So this one is a 035 scale again. So for our work of merit, in this case, we're looking for substitution into the length of the line formula. So some correct substitution into the length of the line formula here for your 3 marks.
Okay, so we kind of hope that the students are going okay here. And this, obviously, you have your formula here on page 18 of the table book, but we think you're probably doing okay. Everything so far it should be relatively straightforward for you. And we're then, I suppose, going into the trickier bit, part D, and it asks to find the area of the quadrilateral ACBE. So I have to look myself and say, where are all these points again? So find the area of the quadrilateral ACBE. So, okay, we're told that a point B lies in L1 such that the length of AB is equal to root 80. Of course, this is the extra bit of information that's given here to me. I was looking at the diagram saying, wait a minute, how am I meant to find, where am I meant to find this? But of course, the information has just been given to me here. So let me click onto my highlighter. Okay, so we have a bit of information here that says a point B lies in L1 and the length of AB is equal to root 80. Okay, the point E lies on L2 such that the length of the line CDE is 3 times the length of CD. Find the area of the quadrilateral ACBE. So now all of a sudden it makes a little bit more sense than what I was looking at first. Okay. So what are we going to say? Okay, we're going to have this point E. So let's have a look at this, right? Our point E is going to be on L2 somewhere. Okay, and we know that the distance from C to E is 3 times the distance from C to D. Okay, so that's illustrated in the diagram. This is going to be the shape of the quadrilateral. Quadrilateral is a 4-sided figure, and in this case, we can see that it's made up of 2 triangles, the triangle CBA, so CBA, and then BEA also. So let's go about it. We're going to find the area of this first triangle. Okay, so this guy up on the top. So BCA. What do we know about it? Well, we know that to find the area, we're going to say a half the base by the perpendicular height. So a half AB times CD. Do we have all this information? We do, because it tells us that AB is equal to root 80, and we figured out what CD was equal to earlier on. It was 3 over 2 root 5. I multiply it all together, and I get my answer of 15 units squared. So that's my top triangle. Okay, what about my next triangle, the triangle BEA? So this triangle here, to find this, it's the same process. It's a half the base by the perpendicular height. So it's a half AB times DE. We know, of course, that CD is 3 over 2 root 5. Now, we just got to think this out. The distance from C to E is 3 times the distance from C to D. So therefore, I can break it down into the ratio of 1 is to 2. The distance from D to E is twice the distance from C to D. Let me clear off this there so we can see it all here nice and clearly. Okay. So in that case, if CD is 3 over 2 root 5 and DE is twice that, I can say it's 6 over 2 root 5, which obviously is 3 root 5. So when I multiply it all out and tidy it all up, I end up with an answer here, which is 30 units squared. So the area ABE is twice that of the area ABC. Adding the two areas together, I get 45 units squared, and that's a 10-mark question.
So this one's marked on a 0, 4, 7, 8, 10 scale. So in this case, a low partial credit is an attempt to find the area of one of the triangles. So if you've attempted and with some correct substitution. So if you have any correct substitution into an equation to find the area of either triangle, that's low partial credit here for 4 marks. Mid partial credit is correctly getting the area of either triangle. So if you correctly get either of them, the 15 or the 30, units don't matter at that point. If you just have correctly the 15 or the 30, that's mid partial credit for 7 marks. And then high partial credit is a final answer, but just one mistake. So you've correctly got one triangle and you've made one mistake on the other triangle. And then you've added them together. That would be high partial credit. This is a starred question, so you do need units to get full credit. So there are 9 marks available if you forget to put in the units at the end of this one.
Okay, so 45 units squared for the 10 marks. Okay, so that was the end of that question, and we kind of hope that we feel that students probably did okay until part D, and then maybe part D might have been proven just a little bit difficult. But you can see now, looking at it, that it was a doable question. Okay, so we're finished here with question 5, and we'll move on now to question 6.